Hey everyone, this is Sean here for Microbudget Film Lab, and this is FAQ 3 for the Microbudget Launchpad, the $5,000 boot camp and competition that kicks off on June 19th, with registration open from June 19th until the end of that week, the Friday. So open for 5 days only, and then it's closed off till the end of the year, basically. So I wanted in this third FAQ to deal with a bunch of smaller questions. In the first two FAQs, I dealt with, what is the program, how does it work? In the second one, I dealt with, why am I doing this? What do I have to gain, just to be completely transparent, and because a number of people raised that question. And the third one, as I say, is going to be about a bunch of smaller questions. So what are the smaller questions? Well, the first one that came up a number of times that people raised was, can I use a script that I already have written? And the short answer to that is no. The longer answer is a little more complicated. I can't read your mind. I have no idea when you started your script or whatever, but there's reasons why you shouldn't do that, okay? So first of all, when you submit, you have to submit all of your materials, okay? All the development materials that you've gone through, a beat sheet, log line, character sheets, treatment, and so on, up and including, of course, the script. Now, you could just copy stuff from the script that you already have, but there's reasons why you don't want to do that. The first is, of course, you won't get the benefit of the bootcamp program, the point of which is to develop your chops as a screenwriter in the pressure cooker environment of a bootcamp, forcing you to develop a feature screenplay in a period of 4 months. The second reason you shouldn't do that is, I may not know, but you know what? Other people who go through that process, of that extensive development process, it's going to be probably obvious. As I've said elsewhere, I read a lot of scripts in my job as a development executive, probably 150 a year, and have done so for 8.5 years. I can tell a strong developed script that has used a framework of development and so on from an undeveloped script pretty easily. I can tell a good script from a bad script pretty easily, where there's strong themes, strong arcs, all that kind of stuff. It's to your advantage, even if you had a script that you wanted to submit, to nonetheless develop that script and go through the detailed development process. That choice is, of course, up to you. I don't run your life. You're going to have to make that decision. In the end, I'm going to choose the script which is best, which is freshest, most unique, that has the strongest, most universal theme. Those kind of criteria are going to be the basis upon which it is judged. Okay, so now the second thing that people raised was from a number of times was, do you have to be in the United States to enter? And the answer to that is no, you do not have to be in the United States. The last round of the Microbudget Launchpad, we had people from all over the world. We had people from India, Colombia, the United Kingdom, from the United States, Canada, Italy, I believe, maybe Croatia as well. So there was people from all over the world. As long as you have, if in case you win, there has to be a way to get you the money, and so there needs to be some method of getting you money, like PayPal or Western Union or that kind of thing. So just to be clear, that's the basis. Other than that, I completely don't discriminate about where your country of origin is. I don't care. What I'm interested in is great scripts that you develop. The third thing that people have raised was, can we do it as a team? Of course you can. If you've got a team of people you're working with, by all means. Part of the program will be setting up a group forum where people can collaborate and share scripts with each other and get notes back and forth from each other, which is advantageous always to get feedback on your script, and to even give feedback on your script is going to help you develop as a screenwriter to read other people's material. So I'm not going to discourage any form of collaboration that you develop as part of developing this microbudget community that we need to develop. Lastly, is what genres? I have no particular preference. I have written dramas, I've written horror, I've written comedy. I love sci-fi. I've written several sci-fi screenplays, and I'm working on a kind of a zombie movie now here in Spain. So I'm pretty open to stuff. What interests me, though, is taking it in a different direction. So, one of my favorite movies, actually, is the movie Monsters, which was by Gareth Edwards, who, of course, went on to do Rogue One and did Godzilla. But my favorite film, I didn't really particularly like Rogue One, to be honest with you. I really loved Monsters because not only what he was able to do with almost no money, but also the fact that it was a monster movie in which the monsters were a way into a world that was actually emotionally rich and was a unique way. It ended up being a road movie about these people, rather than focusing on the monster just killing teenagers who, hapless teenagers who are smoking grass and having sex in a cabin and get killed one by one. That doesn't interest me that much, I'll be honest with you. And I think one of the beautiful things about micro-budget films is that you can do whatever you want. You can push boundaries. And so it interests me to see when people push boundaries. The script that won the last Launchpad, which was called The Goldilocks Theory and How It Relates to Herb, was about this one-eyed conspiracy theorist who was in love with a cam girl, and God grants him the wish of winning the love of this cam girl if he agrees to not release the date of the coming apocalypse when he discovers it by accident. It was this wonderful, weird movie, but actually at the root of it is a really human story about people who lack self-esteem and so aren't able to love others because they don't love themselves. So in some ways it's a very simple story, but in this really fresh kind of way that makes you take a step back and think about what's there. So that's kind of what interests me, is that people take advantage of the micro-budget context. We don't have money, we can't get spaceships and helicopters and crazy digital effects and so on, but what we can do is expand the ideas of story beyond what normally is seen in theaters or coming out of Hollywood and so on. So that's going to be so the genre is not going to interest me or concern me that much. You can pick whatever genre you want. But what is going to interest me is the freshness of your take on the story and how you find the kind of universal theme within that has some relatability to people and is done in a way which has not been seen that frequently. Characters that aren't seen that frequently, and so on and so forth. So I hope that answers the bulk of the questions that people have raised, the thematic questions, in terms of the rules or what have you of the boot camp competition. And next week I'm going to be providing a series of content videos on the things that people raised that were concerns in terms of the screenwriting process, things like dialogue and character construction and how to create a structure and how to overcome writer's block, some of those kinds of things. So there'll be 3 videos released next week that will go in depth into content. You don't want to miss them. They'll be really helpful to you, whether you join the boot camp or not. But that will be sort of the preparatory pre-launch to June 19th, when registration will open, and it'll be your chance to participate in the boot camp and really kick things off. So I look forward to talking to you next week. And if you have any comments or questions, leave them below the video and I'll get back to you, or email me. I'm happy to respond. And yeah, we'll see you next week.